ओम पवित्रं चरितं यस्याः पवित्रं जीवनं तथा पवित्रता स्वरूपिण्यै तस्यै कुर्मो नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। Salutations at the holy feet of Divine Almighty. My respects to Honorable Principal of our esteemed Medical College, our JJM Medical College, Dr. Shri Murugeshappa. My respects to all the teaching faculty of the institution. My love and good wishes to all my young friends who are pursuing their medical education in this institution. My dear friends, JJM Medical College is one of the reputed colleges of Karnataka, which has catered the education of the medical field for the past almost 45-50 years or so. I was fortunate to address the students of previous years in Davanagere. I addressed our JJM students. I accompanied our most revered Swami Jagadatmanandaji and Swami Nirbhayanandaji once. I was invited by Bapuji Medical College twice. I was guest on the dais even in SS Medical College, located on the bypass of Davangere, upon the invitation of Dr. Nagaraj, the then principal. Davangere is a place which I like very much because my participation as a student representing my engineering college during my student days in a state level cultural event like Davana conducted in Bapuji Institute of Engineering Technology way back to 1986. That was the beginning of Davana. And I feel myself very fortunate. After 25 years, I was invited by Dr. Achyuta, the then principal, to inaugurate Davana event. Shri Pattana Shetty was then the Deputy Commissioner in Davangere. We shared the stage together. I have addressed students of BDT, BIET, GMIT. I have addressed the post-graduation students of computer science, management studies. So with all such my exposure in the beautiful city of Davangere, I have a special place in my heart about the city, about the educational institutions which are rendering a human service in the field of education. So I very much feel very happy to share some of my thoughts with my young friends who have assembled here today, because you happen to be most responsible section of the society in catering the health needs of the people of our country. First of all, I wish all of you a great future, a meaningful and successful future in your years to come. My dear friends, when our Honorable Principal requested me for a topic for today's program, I insisted him to choose the topic, Youth is the Time. Youth is the time. There are just 4 letters here, 4 words I mean. But it is a very, very, very versatile topic. a very lengthy topic. It needs serious thinking because youth is that particular stage of our age which will help us to ascend the ladder of success in future years. You all being the youngsters aged between 18 and 23, something like that, if we have the students from the other years in addition to the first year. My dear friends, you are in the pink of your health. You have a greater responsibility of two folds. Number one, you must equip yourself in a very, very, very proper manner, and at the same time, you must start dreaming about your great profession in your future years. So please keep in your mind that you will play a great role in making this country morally, ethically strong also. I am making this statement very clear. You will be the contributors for building the nation morally and ethically, keeping in my mind the great fact that a doctor is not only entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of the physical health of the patient, at the same time, he is responsible even for the ethical health of the society. So, my dear friends, you have chosen your wonderful subject in your education for the degree. So, for graduation and later on for your post-graduation, you must have a greater degree of conviction, determination, and you must strive hard to realize all your dreams to reality. At this juncture, I have planned in 3 different steps to touch upon the topic, youth is the time. Swami Vivekananda, the great patriotic monk of India, is being considered as the youth icon all over the world. I was in United States, I was in United Kingdom, I was in Switzerland, France, Germany, Italy, Austria, I was in Singapore. I was invited to address on the occasion of international leadership training in Seoul, South Korea. Wherever I went, the youngsters in particular, I observed they are very, very fond of knowing more and more about Swami Vivekananda. I was guest on the dais during 150th birthday of Swami Vivekananda in 3 European countries. They released a book on Vivekananda's teachings in Italian language. They celebrated the 150th year with so many aspects, something like youth convention, spiritual retreat, so on and so forth. This speaks about what a great influence Vivekananda could shed on the whole world in last 14 years of his existence. He lived just for 39 years. My dear friends, please go through the message of Vivekananda, especially what he propounded, what he advised the youths in particular. That will give you greater confidence in life, that will enhance your self-confidence, that will make you to realize that you are a universal citizen entrusted with a greater responsibility of looking after the society as your own children, as an inseparable part of your life. The Vaidya profession, the doctor profession, is the noblest profession. Nobody will come to a doctor Asking the doctor, sir, how are you? Are you keeping well? People who are not feeling well, they only come to a doctor and say, sir, I am not well. I have some stomach ache. Rarely I come across the headache. And totally, people with problems will approach a doctor for a solution. So, it is needless to say that the society has beyond doubt accepted that the doctor is the healthiest person in our society. Since he is looking after the health of the society, naturally he must be very healthy. He must be physically, mentally, intellectually, not only that, morally and ethically, he must be very strong and powerful. He must have the strength of health to his credit. So, you being the students of graduation in medicine, as I told you, you are in the pink of your health. The great responsibility what you have in your shoulders should be properly discharged. And ultimately, the success as a student of medical sciences will be the prelude to the success story of your profession, because then you will start ascending the ladder of success after the completion of your education. So, beyond doubt, the human history has proved that on the soft bed of luxury, most kingdoms have expired. My dear friends, this human birth, Homo sapien, it is a great blessing of nature. We are blessed with great potentialities like making our body a wonderful physical weapon, making our mind, our intellect to use for our own beautiful, the process of accelerating our evolution and controlling our emotions, to control our physical, mental and intellectual energies in a moral and ethical way. We have the terms and conditions, what we call as samhita in Sanskrit, which is nothing other than dharma, righteousness. This is most important. So, at any point of life in our lifetime, we must keep in our mind that luxury alone cannot help for our survival. Poverty was never a curse in human history. We learn from the pages of history when we study the great luminaries like Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Abraham Lincoln, so many stalwarts, so many history movers. They had embraced poverty. So poverty is not at all a spoiling spot, an obstacle in our journey of success. Please keep this in mind. Many of you might have paid extra fees to acquire a medical seat here. You need not worry. Your parents have done their job. But at every point of time, my dear friends, you must keep in your mind, just paying a heavy fee, I can get a seat, but at the same time, the greatest challenge is before me to upgrade my intellectual knowledge equally by means of hard work and hard work alone. There is nothing parallel to hard work. My dear friends, we can have a seat by paying heavy fee, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that paying heavy fee, you will have a sudden acceleration in your intellectual strength. So it is hard work alone that can elevate you to a greater height. So never think of a soft bed of luxury as a student. Sukharthi va tyajet vidya, vidyarthi va tyajet sukham. Sukharthinah kuto vidya, kuto vidyarthinah sukham. The great utterance of a Rishi who says, If you want pleasure, if you want luxury, you will not get proper education then. You have to give up education. If you want proper education, good education, you must keep all the pleasures and luxury aside. Luxury and educating ourselves cannot go hand in hand. They cannot move parallel. You have to sacrifice one for the sake of another. Since you have determined to make your life educationally strong, my dear friends, you have to work hard and you should not sleep more than 5 hours a day at this juncture. For this age, just 5 hours of sleep is sufficient. You must plan your program sincerely and you must execute your plan with conviction. That is most important. We all come across a statement very frequently in our society. Generally, people will say, this man is good, that girl is good. Yes, fine. We do appreciate that. But the immediate question what the world asks you is, you are good. Then you are good for what? You may be good. This is a general term. But immediately you must be in a position to answer the question, you are good for what? So appreciating truth is really good, but accepting a truthful living is a great challenge in our human life. Always you must keep this in your mind. An institution is the lengthened shadow of an individual. This is the bitter truth we must understand. The individual will represent the institution in future years. So at this juncture, as the prompt seekers of knowledge, keep in our mind, you should never sell virtues just to purchase wealth. This is most important. Never share your fear, but you must share your courage always. Never sell your virtues for the sake of some monetary benefit. Words have no wings, but they can fly 1,000 miles, is the utterance of one great thinker of world history. It is very clearly evident from the life and teachings of Vivekananda that Swami Vivekananda made it very clear about the mission of his life. Once he said, my faith is in the younger generation, the modern generation, out of which will come my children, and they will work out my plans like lions. My dear friends, myself and you all, my young brothers and sisters, we are the greatest hope of Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda wanted to see all his dreams to get realized through us. Never forget that Vivekananda had greatest faith in the younger generation. That's why he said, my faith is in the younger generation, the modern generation. We all belong to the modern generation. We know science and technology. We have experienced the effect of industrial revolution. We have experienced so many revolutions. And we are, even though we could not see the freedom movement, now we are experiencing the IT movement, the software movement. We are experiencing the wonderful changes all over the world in everyday life. So we must be very much aware of the changes, the growth going on in every nook and corner of the world. Every young man must know about how to set good aim in life. Here you must keep in your mind that goals are very important. We must have good goals in life. But at the same time, means to reach the goal are more important than the ends. Swami Vivekananda says, means are more important than ends. Take care of the means, it will take care of the ends. To justify his statement, I want to quote you. Our today's digestive system, the digestion of today, is because of the food what I took yesterday. Today is a result of yesterday, and tomorrow will be the result of today, because we all know the law of conservation of energy, the law of conservation of mass and energy. So, my dear friends, we must always adopt good means to reach good goals. You are expected not only to get a graduation in medical science, at the same time, morally and intellectually, you must be potential enough to represent this great dynasty of doctors in human history. Swami Vivekananda cautioned us with these words. One of the greatest lessons I have learned in my life is to pay as much attention to the means of the work as to the ends. Remember P.T. Usha, our athlete of Indian team who represented Seoul Olympics. She missed the bronze medal just by a millimeter distance. Recently, I read in a newspaper that a bronze medal winner will be more happier than a silver medal winner. The reason he mentioned is quite fascinating. He says, if I could not get the gold medal, at last I could get the silver medal. This is the secret of his contentment. But a man who got the bronze medal will say, if I had no chance of getting this medal, I would have been a failure. So getting a bronze medal itself is my pride. That was the opinion of one of the sportsmen in the recent concluded Olympics. So at every point of time, my dear friends, either we will win, if not, we will learn. This is the greatest lesson of our life. Learning process is a great education. Education is being defined as it is liberation from limitations. As great historians like Arnold Toynbee, Will Durant defines, civilization is a continuous process. Education is a great virtue for an individual. So with the help of education, we will study what was our past. We will be the part and parcel of the contemporary civilization. And ultimately, before our exit from the world, we will contribute something to the future civilization. So civilization gets strengthened by the contribution of individual personality. So my dear friends, the world may have 700 crore populace, but every individual is expected to contribute his might to the ongoing civilization phenomenon. That means to say, I want to quote the words of Sri Rabindranath Tagore, the first Nobel Prize winner in Asia, who says, every new child born in this world will bring the message of God. What is that message? God is still not disappointed in the process of creating Homo sapien. We must keep in our mind that God has created every individual with a purpose, Never think that human life is purposeless. If you understand the purpose of human life, to understand, the purpose of human life, we must go through the ethical advice of great luminaries like Swami Vivekananda. We must go through Bhagavad Gita. We must go through Kathopanishad. We must study the lives of great luminaries, even from outside India also. You have great books to go through. And those people will shed light on our lives, and they will be the torch bearers in our day-to-day life. So Swami Vivekananda beautifully assures that we must pay more attention to the means than just dreaming about the aim of life. It is said by a psychiatrist that our aim is not to see what lies dimly at a distance, but to do what lies clearly at hand. So do the work, what you have in your hand, sincerely. Do it with commitment. Do it with interest. Do it with conviction. Then only you can successfully ascend the throne, the ladder of success. Swami Vivekananda could find out the psyche of, by and large, the maximum populace about the failures. He says, our greatest defeat in life is that we are so much drawn to the ideal. The goal is so much more enchanting, so much more alluring, that we lose sight of means altogether. So this is the pathetic reason for our failures. Never dream only about the goals. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. You have control over the work, not over the fruit. More and more you think about the fruit, you will have the dissipation of your energies, so that the energy gets decreased, and with the decreased degree of energy, you have to fight out the things. Ultimately, you will end up in failures. Never think of the ends. You always concentrate the means. At every step, you have a challenge. By ascending the throne of success, ultimately you will reach the destiny. So, karmanye vadhikarasthe mafaleshu kadachana is one of the greatest psychological truths what Bhagavad Gita could give us almost 5,000 years back. This is the greatest faith, the stuff of Indian literature and Sanatana Dharma. When the means are strengthened and made flawless, when the means are strengthened and made flawless, success is assured. We may have any aim of our choice, we may have any aim of our choice, but we have no other choice than following the correct method with enthusiasm, perseverance, and patience. We have choice with respect to the aim, and we don't have any choice with respect to enthusiasm, perseverance, and patience. Secondly, my dear friends, you must know what is the secret of success. It is not work that kills, but worry is the words of a noble soul. We have two fears in our day-to-day life. The fear of failure, number one. The fear of criticism is number two. We develop fear because of these two reasons. We may think that we may fail in our attempts, and people may scold us, abuse us, belittle us, and many times betray us. So, just fearing cannot fetch us the solace for our success. He who fears always is almost dead. This is the psychological truth. So for this, my dear friends, this fear is because of the reason we have tension, we have worries, and we have anxiety. Tension can be eradicated by giving more attention. Worries can be eradicated by developing the art of hard working. And anxieties can be eradicated, it can be removed by developing clarity of thought. That is why Chandogya Upanishad says, low aim is a crime. Think in a big way. Think in a big way. Yadeva vidyaya karoti shraddhaya upanishada tadeva viryavattaram bhavati. These are all the words of wisdom proclaimed by the ancient seers of India. We must develop the sense of detachment while we are in the working field. Many a times, people will confuse the word detachment in their own way. Detachment doesn't mean to give up. It is something like, while you work, you must always concentrate your work rather than just brooding over the fruit of the work that may be yielded in future. It is something like a good cricket player or a long tennis player will concentrate only in the process of hitting the ball rather than merely frequently looking at the scoreboard. More and more you concentrate in the process of hitting the ball, it is directly proportional to the increase of score on the scoreboard. Neglecting this process of hitting the ball, just engaging ourselves looking at the scoreboard cannot increase the score at all. So, take care of the means. Take care of the work in your hands properly. You discharge it very sincerely and ethically. Ultimately, that will lead to the increase in the scoreboard. This is most important. Detachment can be defined like this. It is not something like giving up the work rather than performing the work with great mind, great thoughts, and great actions, and not worrying much about the fruits of our work. Detachment means not to attach our mind to the results of our works. I mean the actions. Then every student must love the virtue punctuality. It is ultimately regularity and punctuality that helps us to have a smooth journey in our endeavors. We have observed in our nature the beautiful phenomena like sunrise, sunset, and even the seasons, different seasons. They have beautifully implemented this virtue of punctuality in the creation of God. When the nature, it has adopted punctuality so perfectly, this is a great lesson we have to learn from nature, that we must be also regular and punctual in our educational pursuits. Punctuality, it can not only save time, and it can minimize our inconveniences. This is most important. The third aspect of punctuality is The wonderful virtue of punctuality lends grace to our personality. We must know the importance of time. Time is universal. Time is irreplaceable. Time is inelastic. If I lose some money today, I can regain the money I have lost by working hard. But my dear friends, this is most important aspect of my speech today. If you waste time, you have wasted that part of your life which you cannot regain back. You cannot get it back. You can get back the money what you have lost, but you cannot get back the time what you have wasted. So time is divine, time is precious, time is universal, time is inelastic, time is irreplaceable. Please respect time. More and more you respect time, it will respect your life. People who had a great and successful life, to their credit, they could achieve it because they sincerely respected the factor time. You take the example of Jagadguru Sri Shankaracharya, Vishwaguru, Swami Vivekananda. Even you take the life of Jesus Christ. They lived up to 40 years of their age, but you should know, they were synonyms. Their names are synonyms to the virtues like discipline, potentiality, great possibilities, so on and so forth. And these people have blessed the younger generation of the human populace by proving their worth, that youngsters are not indisciplined, youngsters are not impotential, youngsters are not capable of achieving something great in their life. These the youth icons, they have proved beyond doubt that it is the young age that has proved beyond doubt where you will have the highest degree of discipline, where you will have the greatest struggle of life, and ultimately the greatest achievement in human society. Ego, we are all familiar with. Ego management is the toughest matter in anybody's life. Sri Ramakrishna, the spiritual guru of Swami Vivekananda, used to say, there are two types of egos. One is unripe ego and another is ripe ego. Ripe ego and unripe ego have their own influence in individual lives. A person of trained ego, when our ego is properly trained, we can think nobly, we can act gently, and we can aspire for a sublime goal in life. This is very beautiful. This is really touching. A person of trained ego, he thinks nobly, acts gently, and he aspires for a sublime goal in life. The most happy is he who most promotes the happiness of others. This is what the ancient rishis of India said, Matruvat paradhareshu paradravyani loshtavat atmavat sarvabhuteshu. When you can see yourself in everybody in our society. This is what Swami Vivekananda beautifully dictated the Maharaja of Mysore through his letter in 1894. Swami Vivekananda wrote a letter to the then Maharaja of Mysore, Chamarajendra Wadiyar IV, and the last concluding words of his letter are like this: My dear Maharaja, life is short. The vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. They alone live who live for others. This is an extraordinary definition for the word life given by Swami Vivekananda. Many a times we come across most normal definitions about the word life. People say the difference between the date of birth and date of death is the lifespan. People say they lived for 69 years. He lived for 84 years, so on and so forth. But what Vivekananda says, they alone live who live for others. Our real life starts when we determine to live beyond self. We should not be self-centered. This is most important, my dear friends. The Homo sapien is expected to live exclusively for the society. That's why it is said, the great philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, they said, man is a social animal. But that is not enough. Vedanta says, Gita says, man is a spiritual animal. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity. This is what the reply an ancient sage of India, living on the banks of the river Ganga, answered the question of Alexander. Alexander wanted to get a handful of philosophers upon the advice of his guru Aristotle to Greece. When he demanded a monk, a sadhu living on the banks of the river Ganga, to accompany him to Greece, the sadhu said, no, I cannot leave this country. This is the holy land. Ganga is everything to me. I have my own vision of life. Then Alexander said, if you don't accept my words, respect my words, I shall kill you with my sword. Immediately the Zir said, you poor fellow, you may be treated as the emperor of the world today. In spite of that, you are a kindergarten student to the School of Philosophy of India. Do you know what philosophy says? You cannot kill the soul, rather you can kill the organic body of an individual. A soul cannot be killed. It cannot be deteriorated. Atma, the beautiful concept of Atma, Swami Vivekananda has explained it in detail. Atma, Atma Vishwasa, Atma Abhimana, Atma Shraddha, Atma Avalokana, Atma Prerana, Atma Sakshi. We have heard of so many wonderful words. Each word is thundering. It is something like a scintillating word. They are all from Vedanta. The moment you say Atma, you will feel some energy generated within you. That's why Vivekananda said, strength is life, weakness is death. Strength, be strong. Be strong. He expected every individual, every youth to have the muscles of iron, nerves of steel, intellect like electric current, and they must remain sincere to their backbone. Then only we can expect a greater transformation of an individual into an institution. I mean to say, a human getting transformed into a human resource. That is why it is said, the history of the world is the history of handful of personalities. What was the speciality with these personalities? They believed themselves more than they believed the external help. This is what you call Uddhared Atmanatmanam, the great preaching of Gita. This is what Vivekananda said, you are the maker of your own destiny. You are the creator of your own destiny. My dear friends, a man of perverted ego, he will damage the very structure of the society. With his distorted ego, he is a curse to the society. He is totally blind to the noble qualities of the wise. He makes his home a veritable hell. So, the transformation of unripe ego to ripe ego is the greatest challenge of education system. We may be well versed with respect to textbook knowledge, but at the same time, the human personality has got different facets. It is not the mere intellectual gigantism that counts. It is equally the share of the humanistic impulse of an individual. When the synthesis of manliness and synthesis of godliness coupled together, then only you come across a man of good personality, good nature. Many a times, people ask us, do you have self-confidence? How to define self-confidence? This is a beautiful question, a tricky question. The answer is not very tough. It is very, very simple, but very difficult to digest. What is that? Our ego, in its refined and reinforced form, is self-confidence. When our ego doesn't permit any impurities to get in, when our ego is not a bundle of distorted pieces, it means to say we are a man of self-confidence. You believe yourself more than believing the external agencies who have stretched their hand to help you. This is most important. For this, Vivekananda says, please go through the noble literature as much as possible. Be in the association of people of moral and ethical stands. Right thinking, right speech, and right actions, they will help you to succeed in life. You must have a right thinking. This is most important. The purity in our thoughts is most important. The purity, Vak Shuddhi, purity in our talk, and purity in our actions. We must have agendas in life and never surrender to any hidden agendas for that matter. The best way to predict our future, is to create it. This is the great word of wisdom. Before I conclude, as Swami Vivekananda said, 3 things are necessary to make an individual great, to make a nation great. Number 1, conviction of the powers of goodness. My dear friends, you must honor and respect the words of goodness. Please respect and revere the experience of achievers. Never belittle, never neglect the advice of elderly people. Bhagavad Gita says, Yadyad acharati shreshtah tatta devetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. My dear friends, the life what our elders have led, it is the torch for our future life. And we must move in the footsteps of our elders, because they are not just mere steps, they are the steps of experience. In earlier history of humankind, medical field was just, you should know, it was a part-time occupation, but later on it became a profession. It became a profession. Medical profession, very unfortunately, today it has come under the Consumer Act. Education and health has come under Consumer Act. The patient will pay you and he demands good treatment from you. He has got the right to ask you a question, doctor, how you have charged me? Even by charging so much, why? There is no improvement in my health. He can question you. Morally and ethically, you must be strong enough to face the challenges of day-to-day life. This is, you have to prepare yourself to face the situation. Conviction of the powers of goodness, as Vivekananda rightly said, the first prospect for our upcoming in life. Second one, absence of jealousy and suspicion. Not a single man in human history from time immemorial could ascend the ladder of success with being jealous and suspicious. You must be cautious about other people and never always develop suspicion about other people. Be cautious. Don't conclude that every man should be suspiciously treated. No, absolutely not. The third aspect what Vivekananda says is, help those who are good and who can do good. This is another very most important and vital factor. This is the way how the society can develop the culture of doing good. My dear doctors, my dear budding doctors, please keep in your mind that it is the fraternity of doctors who saved the world from the jaws of Corona, the COVID. In India, more than 1,000 doctors, they lost their lives. Lakhs of doctors, they sacrificed their personal life. They could not go to even their own houses. Even I was in tears when I read in newspapers that the newly born babies of lady doctors could not get the breastfeeding of their mothers because mothers were very much engaged in the hospitals to serve the patients. I salute such great mothers. They are the embodiment of Mother India, Bharata Mata. You just imagine, they left their 3 months, 4 months old child in their house. They went to hospitals for 2-3 weeks together. They neglected every responsibility of their family. I mean, I should not use the word neglect. They never cared much about their individual needs. Rather, they saved the lives of so many lakhs and lakhs of people. India could achieve the vaccination of 100 crore citizens, a great milestone in the human history. A country with 130 crore populace. Our most honorable Prime Minister, Rajarshi Shri Narendra Modi ji, with a teamwork, with a wonderful work, he could achieve such a great success in the field of this vaccination to control COVID in a very great extent. My dear friends, as Swami Vivekananda rightly said, freedom means responsibility. We are all educated people. We must understand the real meaning of the word education, the real meaning of the word freedom. If we cannot understand that, we will be literates and we can never be the true admirers of freedom. So, I wish all of you a great success in our future endeavors, because you are all the future of my country, to take care of our populace, a great country, a great country. I thank Dr. Murugeshappa, our Honorable Principal, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of today's seminar. I wish all my young brothers and sisters a great success in their future endeavors. Thank you so much. May Lord bless you immensely. Jai Ram Krishna.